Welcome everyone. I'm sorry, I almost said welcome back. That was crazy. Okay. Welcome everyone to the JordanCon Wheel of Time Show Teasers and Overview and Reactions panel. You guys excited? Okay, this has been a topic that many people here among this panel that I'm going to introduce here shortly have covered. And so we're going to ask you lots of questions to get a feel for what you already know, so then we know where to go with this conversation. But before I do that, let me introduce my wonderful panelists. Let's start with you, Chris. Do you want to introduce yourself to the panel, to the show? Sure.
My name is Chris Cottingham, sometimes Chocolate Chris on different forms. And I am a poser who is totally out of my depth on this panel. So. I've been coming to JordanCon since 2013 and been doing panels since probably 2015. And so I really wanted to do one this year, but I am not a talk show host or podcast host, and I have no special knowledge either about the show or about how one makes a show, other than seeing all of the stuff that everybody else can see and being excited about it. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, welcome, Chris. Chris knows everything there is to know. And next to you are two members of the Talk Around Round podcast. We welcome Tom and Joe to this panel. So, Joe, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Joe Perry. I'm from the Talk Around Real podcast. We've been covering show news for about 2 years, almost 2 years now. I think we're actually going to be celebrating our 100th episode very soon. I'm really looking forward to this. This is my first JordanCon, and it's been an amazing experience so far. And I'm really excited that it's just starting. So, and you guys are all really good looking, by the way.
Everybody in the chat too. Yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah, even the ones I can't see on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're all really good looking.
And
A really attractive fan.
thank you, Joe. And Tom, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm also from the Talk Around Real podcast. I'm super excited to be here. Like Joe, this is my first time as well. Chris might feel out of his depth, not being a podcast or YouTube host. I feel out of my depth because this is my first time being on a panel here at JordanCon. But I'm very excited about this topic. It's something that I think we're all really passionate and excited about. And I'm curious, as Matt mentioned, to get your sense here in the room and live on chat about where you sit with your knowledge of the show, the pieces of the casting, and all that information.
Yeah, so raise your hand if you cover or follow the Wheel of Time TV show news on a daily or weekly basis.
Oh.
Okay, so I know all of you in chat on YouTube are kind of like, what is that? Give us a thumbs up in chat. We'll ask kind of how chat reacted to this too. Thumbs up if you've been following us on a daily or weekly basis when it comes to Wheel of Time TV show news. I saw like most people in this room, so that's great. So all of you know who Rafe Judkins is that correct? And all of you know the episode titles. Oh, okay, let's start there.
I think some people lied when they raised their hand when they said they follow the show news.
Yeah, so give us some data there, Jimmy. What are you gonna say?
I got a video to share.
Oh yes, please do. Okay, a video. Go ahead.
Hey guys, I know you're all at JordanCon. I wish I could be there too, but I'm proud. Just getting started on season 2 of the Wheel of Time. I know this is a panel about all the stuff that we've released before. It's amazing to see all your guys' theories on everything that comes out, and we have a lot more coming out soon. There should be a trailer dropping by the end of the summer, and hopefully next year I can be at JordanCon with you. All right, have fun guys. Bye.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, everybody do some social media work. That was amazing. Thank you very much, Rafe. If you're watching this, that was. Which part? Make sure you share that on social media so everyone sees what just happened here. And thank you very much, Rafe, for that. That was awesome. What did you? Okay, I'm.
The video will be up on our channels later too.
What is that?
We'll have the video up this evening on our channels.
Okay, cool. That'll be up on the JordanCon channel coming up here. Make sure you share it when it does go there. And let me start here really quick. What did you hear from that? We're going to totally change. Thanks a lot, Rafe. Let's change this up. Chris, was there anything that stood out to you from what Rachel said?
So I heard what I've heard before, that Rafe is one of us, and that he, just the fact that he knows JordanCon and has taken the time to say hello to us. That's really awesome. I also heard him say we're gonna have lots more coming, and season 2, all of those set off big alarms, but good kind of alarms, whatever that is.
I heard the word theories. I don't know why, but that just stuck out to me. Let's go to. I think that's really good what you said, Chris. That's an important piece. Rafe being one of us, I think that stood out when I said all of you know who Rafe is. Everyone cheered. I think that's really important to us that he's a fan. But let me go to Tom and Joe here. Anything else that stood out to you two about what he just said?
Yeah, trailer by the end of the summer.
Trailer by the end of the summer.
Now, we can sit here and probably debate for an hour about what that means. The end of summer is very different to a lot of people. So.
Okay.
You know what, to me, end of summer, the latest end of summer is September 21st.
Ooh, okay, yeah, sure.
If you live in the northern hemisphere.
If you
That is really good. And I appreciate that. I would run with that theory because that is a fun one. But yes, trailer by the end of the summer, which is awesome to hear. And yeah, Chris, go ahead.
Rafe is improv, which is in the northern hemisphere.
Therefore, that is a
And the video was made for JordanCon here, where we are in the northern hemisphere. So.
So, but hopefully that felt just as good for you as it did for me, which was he did sit and take a moment because he does care what you are all doing right now and thinking about this, and just as much of a fan as we are. So yeah, that was awesome. Thank you again. Another round of applause for Rafe, Judkins, and Man, my head's full now. Trailer by the end of the summer. Okay, but let's get back to it. For those that are watching us on YouTube, I don't know what they reacted. They may follow the chat on YouTube, but there was a thumbs up like they all knew. Okay, so cool. People are following the news, but from an episode title perspective, let's begin there. We don't have to dive too deep into this, but let's just cover these real quick. Let me start with you, Joe. You want to give everybody what the first 6 episode titles are of season 1 of the Real-Time TV show?
All right, first 6 titles. We got episode 1, Leave Taking. Episode 2, Shadows Waiting. Episode 3, Place of Safety. Episode 4, The Dragon Reborn. Episode 5 is you got me. Is it Blood Calls Blood? And
Blood Calls Blood.
Episode 6 is The Flame of Tagalog.
Yeah. You did a paperback that you ripped up over there? Yeah. So, and some of these came out, it was really cool when Rafe was first interacting with it. I don't know, Jimmy, if you have some of those images. Rafe shared those on social media. He would give us a script title image, and we'd see that. That was a lot of fun. That has ended, We're not going to do it anymore. And there are 2 more to go. Episodes 7 and 8, we do not know the titles for. So let me begin there. Any speculation on this panel? Chris, why do you think we don't know the titles of those last 2 episodes? Is that significant, or is that just red herring?
Yes.
Yes. Love that. That's how you answer most of my questions. But go ahead.
So I am interested to hear your other panelists' thoughts on that. My thought would be, my question would be if these episode titles will give us more hints about how far into the series we're getting by the end of the first season.
I cannot watch Sarah during it. It's gonna mess me up. But yeah, I love seeing the head nods to yes to that. That is some of the speculation. Would these things give away anything? Is there reason for us to believe that or not, Tom? Do you think that there's something significant about these last 2 titles that we don't know?
I like to think so, even if it's not necessarily a plot, it's going to give away too much plot, because I do think that episodes 5 and 6 have titles that may be misleading to some of us as to what they're going to cover. But I think that, to me, the omission is glaring. There has to be a reason for it. I see 6 out of 8, and I go, that means something. And maybe that's just, the theorizing that we do too much, like, and it's just ingrained into me. But yeah, I think that there's something there, and there's a reason. Like when we see episode 7 being revealed, we're like, oh, I think it's
Okay, I do want to catch up on this as far as the latest speculation from what the news that is being covered on a daily basis by people like Talker Unreal. When it comes to how far we believe that season 1 will go, was there a reason why we do believe that season 1 will maybe go to Faldara? Joe, was there any news that came out about that?
So I know they're not official, but there were set photos posted about in was it Yosemite Fortress, very Faldara looking. We've seen some other unofficial set photos as well of what appeared to be Shannara soldiers. We've seen the flags of Faldara from some of those set photos, so it definitely appears that they are going to Faldara.
This is the kind of stuff Talker Unreal does. They follow on this thing. Yeah, there's a reason to believe that the book does kind of follow through to those. And so we don't know what the last 2 episode titles will be, but it seems like we're going places that we've, well, I mean, the books do the same thing. So, I do want to cover this, casting. How many of you feel pretty competent about all the cast that have been chosen for the Wheel of Time TV show? Oh, yeah, it was kind of half and half. For those of you that are live with us on YouTube, I'm kind of curious again, do you know about all the casting news? Give us a thumbs up in chat for this. I think we'll just do a quick kind of browse through. I'm going to ask my panelists here, and then, like I said, for the second half of this, we'll get out and ask the audience some questions. When it comes to the cast itself, obviously Rosamund Pike was the first one that we found out about, and as we have Jimmy go through kind of a lot of these, there's such a huge amount of casting announcements we have. We'll stick with the official ones right now that we know for sure are part of the show. Chris, is there any, when it comes to the cast itself, is there any that you're really excited about seeing on screen?
So, one of the ways that I approach adaptations, especially in something that I love, like I love The Wheel of Time, is I try, and this makes me strange for this panel, I try not to speculate too much. I try to hold my expectations a little bit. And so the way that means that I approach casting is I see, number one, somebody like Rosamund Pike. They've obviously invested time and effort in getting somebody who is really good at their craft. And then for the other folks that I don't know, that I haven't seen before, I'm not going out and searching out their other work because I don't want to have a lot of preconceptions. I want to see what they do with The Wheel of Time. So the main thing that I see is I have seen cast with pictures of them holding the books, and I've seen them interacting with fans on Twitter and on Instagram, and I just see a lot of what looks like a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and so I'm really excited about all of that. It looks to me like they've got a multinational cast of people that are excited to be part of The Wheel of Time, and so I don't have any specifics beyond that, just a general sense of this looks really good, and I'm really excited to see what they do.
Yeah, that's good. That's well said. Out to you, out and I'm going to give you the right to do this unless somebody stops me. Who are you? I mean, you can kind of speak on the screen, but who are you most looking forward to when it comes to seeing this cast portray a particular character on the TV show?
Steve.
Madeline Maddie, so Gwen, yes, Madeline Maddie as Gwen, that one's going to be amazing. Anyone else? Who else are you looking forward to? Yosha, yes, Yosha as Brand. They've shown some pictures of him. I don't know if you have that one. It was in the mountain picture. I think it's number 9 there, Jimmy. You can probably show that picture. Yosha on the mountain. Yosha was recently, he was reading a book, or I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, Yosha's pretty active on social media. I heard Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve, that one. I've heard so much demand for Zoe,
yes.
You know. Everyone wants to see the break, right?
We've got teasers featuring just about every other main character except for her.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's part of Rafe's, there's so much more we're going to be giving you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good theory. So much more sounds like a lot of fun for the next however long that is. I mean, before we move on from this topic of casting, I want to go over to you two, and Joe, start with you. Any kind of remarkable thing about the casting that you think is important to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Alvaro Morte for a little bit here. He
Sure.
does,
Yeah.
Right, Logain.
Alvaro Morte playing Logain, right? Yeah.
Logain, he is like a huge international star. Like, if you go on like the social media and look at like his followers compared to like the next highest person, it's like he dwarfs them. He is a huge international star, and he's going to draw a lot of attention and people to this show. His expanded role that Rafe's talked about, you know, the Logain role being expanded is going to be very interesting as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and seeing what they do with Logain and how they're going to expand that role. So I'm really excited to see him. I actually watched the Money Heist show, and it's a really awesome show. Go watch that.
Plug for Money Heist. I like it.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm looking forward to that.
Who's looking forward with maybe a round of applause? Who's looking forward to Logain having an expanded role in this season? Everyone wants that one. That one, I'm assuming, for all the things that perhaps may change, that we've been prepared for at this point, that one might not be the same reaction. But that's really cool. I'm also looking forward to that. Before we move on again to you, Tom, any other remarkable thing about the casting?
Yeah, well, I want to say, and Chris highlighted this a little bit too, you know, it's a multinational, multicultural cast. And as good looking as Joe has said, he's right, all of you here and on stream are, this cast is remarkably good looking. And I think it's a very, very accurate portrayal of what the books tell us, and I'm very excited about that. It doesn't look necessarily like some other fantasy shows that we've seen in the past, and I'm excited about that too.
That's one of the things the cast has actually called out.
Yeah.
The cast, if you follow them on social media, have called out how excited they are to be part of a show that has been cast like this, in the same, like you said, in a multi-national, multicultural kind of way. So, yeah, I think that speaks really well for the casting department. I think it was, I want to say, I can't think of her, yeah, Kelly Henry, yeah. The casting group that put together this cast, it's amazing how much the cast is excited about being part of the cast. And that sounds kind of strange, but they're just how much they talked about it. So, one of the last thing I want to remark about the casting announcements has to be the fact of who we don't know yet. We have a lot of unofficials, and they're unofficial, right? It's maybe someone's made a social media post that accidentally, whatever, they didn't. But we don't know that official casting announcements have been made for certain characters.
Glaring holes.
For example, the Judkins have not been officially cast in the TV show yet. That is one of them. Is there anyone else that stands out from so far that we haven't received? I don't think Bail Damon has been.
Well, staying in Caneland, Elida, we
We don't have an official casting yet for Elida. That's true. Elias has not been officially cast yet. Anyone else standing out to you guys? Yes, so that is a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, so the Forsaken. So let's tackle that, Chris. No Forsaken announcements yet. I think this is kind of on purpose. In other words, not just telling us who the villains are yet. They're hiding it, or do you think there's been some change here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, I gotta stop asking you 2 questions. I'm not gonna do that for you anymore. No more 2 questions for you, Chris. Yeah, that's a good question. Anybody else notice someone that has not been cast yet that they're kind of waiting on?
I wanna know what horse's name.
Elaine, right? Of course, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so people in Faldara, and by the way, for my panelists here, make sure to lean into your mics and act like you are at a talk show. You know, that's what you need to do. So,
Okay.
just so everybody online can hear us, it's a little bit difficult for people online to hear the audio. So, yeah, so Agomar and those part of Faldara, to getting official casting announcements. Again, we have some unofficial notes there. Anybody else before we move on from casting? Yeah, way in the back.
Bella.
Bella has been cast. Yes, Tom.
Officially.
Inktar, yes, officially waiting on Inktar to be cast here. Yes. Omar.
Almond Bunt.
Almond Bunt, yes. Who wants to see Almond Bunt in the real-time TV show? I mean, you can clap too. That's fine. You can clap. Yes, that. Again, a lot of these are still coming. Probably, maybe some of them have been moved for another season. That's possible too. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, Rob. What were you going to say? Semester, yeah, Semester? Yes, exactly. Semester is a great one, yeah.
We've got 2 on YouTube for Hyam Kinch.
There we go, yeah, Higher Pitch. Yes, I love it. Thank you, YouTube, for giving us some shout outs there.
We don't have a
Appreciate that.
Florin Gelb yet either, or a Samuel Hake, or a...
Yeah.
There's a lot of those stuff.
There's excitement there, yes.
We need NARG.
NARG, yes, but the official note on NARG is that
We do have Betty now.
we have Betty the Trolloc.
Betty the
That's
Trolloc
true.
has been cast.
Does everyone know who Betty the Trolloc is? I'm seeing lots of some. Anyone want to quickly explain Betty the Trolloc?
I think that was in a Q&A, right? I think someone asked Rafe in one of his Q&As on Instagram or Twitter about Trollocs, and he mentioned that they do have a favorite Trolloc called Betty.
Betty the Trolloc. I didn't see that one coming, but I should have after Steve. That one should have been prepared for that one. Okay, so yeah, I think the casting continues to be a lot of fun to talk about and read about. I think one of the things that's been a big thing that Amazon has done over the last 8 months has to be the teaser trailers. Who have enjoyed the first look kind of teaser trailers that we've been receiving from Amazon? Round of applause. Anyone want to be a dark friend and say you don't like them? I didn't see anybody. Okay. Wimps. Raise your hands. So the teaser trailers, that's been a really unique I guess engagement with fandom. The first one, you want to show us the first one of the teaser trailers? Here, this one has to do obviously with the Widespring Inn. Dang it, it still got me. I got chills. Why did I get chills? I've seen that thing so many times. That's not fair. Those jerks. We'll watch these. The Widespring Inn, it's remarkable how excited fans got by two pictures that were superimposed and kind of So let me go to you, Tom, on this one. Widespring Inn, what do you want to tell us? Anything fans don't know about that, or just what was your reaction to the Widespring Inn teaser trailer? First look that we got.
I was definitely one of the people who got really excited about it. I love, and this is the first one they did it for a bunch of things. I love these page to screen vibes of these initial trailers. I really felt like these trailers were very finely tuned to hit us as a fandom, right? And I say us, I mean the people here at JordanCon, right? And I think this is terrific. And I think I saw it, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna say what I really said, because I think we were probably trying to keep this a little clean. But I said, holy moly!
Holy moly!
That's what it looks like. So that was my reaction.
Yeah. Anything that stood out to you, Joe, when you first saw, like, okay, this is again, it was like a couple seconds, and we got a shot of Widespring Inn. What was your thought?
Oh, it was so long ago, I don't remember. I think, okay, so one thing I guess I'll just like a generality about these trailers or these teasers. They are made for us book fans, right? They didn't put these out there for, the wider public to drum up hype for the show, because those people don't know anything about it. So these are really targeted towards us, the fans and the book readers. And I think that's so awesome that they took the time. They didn't have to do this, right? They didn't have to put this stuff out. Most shows don't do anything like this. So the fact that they took the time to do this for us, that kind of set the stage, I think, for me. Like, it gave me really good feelings that they really care about the fandom, and aside from what they're going to be gaining later on when the show comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris, what's I don't know, this stands out to me, but do you think there's anything significant about the idea that they have kind of a page from the book in a lot of these, and they're kind of reading almost from a page from the book before they show us what's there?
I think it suggests at least that they are looking at the descriptions in the books and they're trying to bring that to life, and that's like you guys both said, that's very exciting for me as a fan, because that's what we want, right? That's what we want, is to see these books come to life. And the format of that teaser shows that. So it starts with a page and then shows us something real and physical. And yeah, that's really cool. And I think your point too about how a lot of other series don't do that, there's really no need to market to us. We're already the audience. We're going to watch the show. And so this kind of outreach to us does feel really special.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fair to say. It is special. Again, just like the note we got from Rafe, obviously not required. Really cool that they're doing these. Let's watch a couple more of these, and then I kind of want to know from you. Yeah.
You ready?
chills for each one of these. It's bothering me. Go ahead.
I was
You-
gonna say,
yeah.
that's where things started getting more exciting.
Yeah. Okay, let's stop on that one. And so I don't know, is our YouTube crowd seeing these also? I'm not sure if they're also seeing this. I feel bad I'm not explaining to them if they're, okay, so they're also seeing them, great. Let's jump back to that one, that audio. That was like a really cool piece. That turned out to be Egwene, right, and Perrin. We're hearing Egwene and Perrin in that audio piece here. And they say, she's like, are you ready? And then she's like, no, me neither, or whatever. This was a big question, and I'm kind of curious, we didn't come to an answer on this one. We don't know what scene this is.
No, that was the best part. When this came out, that started the real crazy speculation about what's going on in some of these trails. Like the ones we're in, it was just showing us what it looks like. But then we started getting into stuff where they were giving us little snippets of stuff, and we were trying to figure out like what scene is that? What are they talking about? Where does that take place? Is that this and that? And that I think really got the fandom kind of stoked, and it got me really riled up. So I love it.
Yeah.
The dialogue, just the fact that you're hearing dialogue from the world of the Wheel of Time was really cool.
Yeah, that was a different twist in that. We hadn't really heard their voices. Even in later trailers, we do hear eventually some additional ones here. But I like that they upped their game with the sword one. Like all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, like now we're actually seeing how they're actually doing the process itself. Let's go ahead and watch the next one here about Tom's guitar, I think is the next trailer that they put out. Okay, let's stop there. Dang it, I got the chills. Okay, so his guitar. I just said Tom's guitar, and I like that no one in the audience that I saw or heard said anything. It was very quiet. Look at you all. You were all like, I know this is old news. I'm already past it. But I want to talk about this, right? This is Changes, right? Tom's guitar. There was a lot of talk after this one came out. A lot of, I don't know, teen angst. I don't know what to call it. But there was a lot of discussion about this guitar. So let me go to you, Tom, on this one. Changes to the Wheel of Time. Do you think that some of these first looks are part of preparing us for changes?
I think that's exactly right, and I like the way they're doing it. Like, there was a little bit of that with the sword, right? There was a little bit of that with the sword trailer that came out. People were like, I don't see the hands on both sides. People were like, really like, they had a very clear image in their head of what that was supposed to look like. But this one, like, people got a little upset, and I'm glad it happened now.
Sure.
I'll just say this: the guitar is a far superior instrument to the harp. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone here that? No, I don't want to stop there. Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. But well, then people were talking about, because obviously, has everyone here read the books? Okay. This may spoil something for someone online, so I'm preparing you. But the brands, right? People were looking at the herons and like, how is this going to be possible? I don't see it in this image, right? Like there was a moment where you're like, how could they miss this? So I think that first looks are an efficient way of not only giving us something as fans, but preparing us for every other thing that's coming. So, Chris, do you feel like you are prepared for the changes that are coming?
Until we see what they are. But, I do think, I said a minute ago that they don't have to market to us, but we do have some pockets of skepticism, we'll say. So doing this kind of outreach to us that shows, number one, we're aware of the fandom, we're part of the fandom, we care about the fandom, but that also says, oh look at this, it's not exactly what we've envisioned for all the years that you've been reading this. So I think it's smart. And yeah, so far I like what I see.
Yeah, I think Rafe used the words. I can't remember. I'm hoping somebody. Gird your loins. Thank you. I was like, come on, fill it in. Gird your loins. Gird your loins. Let's just settle on that one for a moment. And hopefully everyone is feeling that as fans, right? Like, we're about to get this. A trailer by the end of the summer. I feel like that's going to be your Gird your loins moment. I don't think you're going to be able to wait till the first episode. I think whatever trailer we get is going to have some of that feel to it. So, yeah, I think that's I'll say this about Rafe. I do think it's awesome that he's preparing us as fans.
Yes.
He cares enough to say stuff like that, and to give us these things that, in the end, we didn't actually necessarily deserve. It's just great that we've got them. So, let's jump on to this next teaser trailer. This one.
The eye of the world is the themes of balance, of gender, and the emotional journey of these characters. As a fan of the books, I feel so lucky we get to bring this world to life.
Right at the end. Stop it. Okay, let's see the next one. The Ruby Hill put the dagger. Can we watch the Ruby Hill with the dagger one more time? This is one of my favorites. I just want to see it again. Can't wait for that. Okay. You can go ahead and show Moraine. Let's finish with all these two.
Living in this tower.
Yeah, you keep going. There we go. You stop there. Okay, cool. Woo. Yes. I think I do. Sorry, that blurred script thing gets me each time.
Oh, we can't move on without talking about blurred scripts, man.
Okay, yes. So yeah, the blurred script one was a lot of fun. I do not believe, and I'm gonna look. I don't know what to say to this. I do not believe that they were expecting us to unblur the script. I believe that was a surprise.
I told them that it was a high possibility and they couldn't believe it. Oh my God.
Yeah. That was fun. So if you don't know, yeah, me and some people that helped, that will remain nameless, unblurred that script on that scene, and it's really cool. If you haven't seen it, you don't want to cover it right now, but you should go look it up. It's fun. If you want to know some additional details that are apparently coming in the TV series, there's a horse involved, and there's an oily substance apparently. Anyways, so yeah, that one's a lot of fun. Anything that stands out before we kind of jump to what I want to do next is talk about kind of the season 2 stuff and just the latest news that's come out. And then I want to go out to the audience here and ask you some questions that you might have for the panelists and get your thoughts on the show. So just on this, from these last teaser trailers, anything that stand out to any three of you want to speak up as far as, Moraine and Lan here and the Ruby Hill dagger?
Yeah, I mean, the Rosamund Pike Moraine, that's the first, person in costume, official person in costume trailer we got. And not only that, that was actually tweeted out by Amazon Prime's account, not just the show's account. It was tweeted out by Sony, I think, also tweeted it out. So that was their first showing it to the entire world, as opposed to just the fans, I think. And that was an awesome moment for me, at least, just being a fan of the show, that they're it's starting, we're gonna be getting something soon, because they're starting to share it with the entire world, not just the fandom.
Yeah, and she's definitely standing in front of the wine spring in there, just as a note. So Tom, any other thought there? And then we'll go Chris here. Any thoughts on the Moraine, the Ruby Hill dagger, or the Lan teaser?
Yeah, so, one, and I want to be they're all awesome. And I think that I want to make that clear. They're all awesome. But the dagger one, I think, is exciting too. That's another one where people are like, oh, it's not exactly how I pictured it looking. But I think that dagger reveal is amazing. Yeah. I really do. It's so atmospheric, and it really gives you a sense of to me, it gives you a sense even more than the action shots of the last two, of what we might be feeling from the show. That was the first one that gave me atmosphere, and I really liked it.
And it confirmed Shadow Logoth was going to be in the show, which was very exciting for me.
Yeah, Chris, you seem to kind of shake your head there. Yeah, go ahead, what were you sharing?
Yeah, the Ruby Dagger was kind of my Tom's guitar moment, where I thought, that's not what the Ruby looks like in my head. That's not what the Ruby has looked like in my head since 1996. So that took a moment, but the atmosphere and the sense of Shadow Logoth was so strong, and that was the atmosphere that I feel. So I was like, okay, I'm good with that. And then the other thing I'll say, like you said, they're all amazing, but seeing Rosamund as Moraine and really just that kind of flash of light and just imagining seeing Moraine using the one power, I have chills again just thinking about that. I'm excited to see that.
Let's watch it again. Moraine's the Rosamund Pike. Let's watch it again. It's like 3 seconds. So.
Do not underestimate the women in this tower.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
I'm such an Aes Sedai fan, and I'm here for that.
By the way, you just coined a cool experience. I think you should all write down what your Tom's guitar moment is over the next 6 months. I want to hear them later on. You can just keep track of them like that was my Tom's guitar moment. That's so good. I like that. That's gonna be a thing. We're gonna do a show on that. Like, what was your Tom's guitar moment? Oh gosh.
If you didn't hear, Sarah just said we'll need a couple of shows.
Yes, you'll need a couple of shows. Oh gosh. Okay. So before we move out to questions from the audience, last couple notes from the news. I'm sure you've heard about this, but let's show. We have the fact that I think there was an episode 1 image shown for season 2. You want to show that one, Jimmy, up on the screen? And thankfully they showed us. They announced to us that we have the season.
Probably the last one.
Yeah, so sorry, it's rated number 19 there. Sorry, I didn't give you that spot here. This was a tweet they put out, and I totally can't read it from here, but obviously it's episode 1, A Taste of Solitude for season 2. So, who's excited about season 2? I didn't see anything from you, Joe.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
I'm just kidding.
I wanted to see you people.
Yeah, season 2 I think was really cool.
Yeah, we've got Amanda K. Schumann is the writer. She's writing for season 1, so we've got a writer coming back. We know that. A Taste of Solitude, right? Another chapter title from Lord of Chaos. I don't think we're going to be in that one for season 2.
You never know.
So I think that was like a definite. To me, that was a definite like flag that the episode titles for the first season don't really mean. I'm not going to say the word, but
They don't necessarily correspond
yes.
to the plot of those chapters. I think that's what you're trying to say.
They're being very playful with the episode titles. So I know in the beginning we were like trying to place everything that happened in that chapter into the episode, but clearly that's not the case. So.
Well, I want to go out while you're talking about this to those that are watching us online in chat. I can't see it, but that doesn't mean anything. What is your theory about what a taste of solitude means? I'm kind of curious out there. You guys can chat about that. I want to ask my panelists this, and then we're going to show the logo and get out into the audience here. So, Chris, do you have a thought? A Taste of Solitude. You have some concept that you've read the books before. Where is it happening?
So I'll say number 1 that I love the episode titles. I love those kind of references. It reminds me of looking at my Lord of the Rings DVDs and seeing the episode title show up in the DVD set. So I love the titles. I really don't know because I can't imagine that we're too Lord of Chaos. It does make me speculate a little bit about being alone in Portalstone worlds. That seems scary.
Ooh, nice one. I like that. Mirror World theory. I like it. That's good. That's a good one. Tom, do you got anything to beat Mirror World theory on Taste of Solitude?
No, I don't. What I have isn't beating that. I have something, but it's not beating that.
I'm sorry.
So that's all right. So to me, a taste of solitude can refer to 2 things that happened at the beginning of the Great Hunt. One is Rand's taste of solitude before his world gets very, very complicated. And two, it could refer to Fane's taste of solitude, being in solitary confinement. That's what I was thinking, which isn't as cool as Chris's answer.
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, Tom.
that's not as cool, but you mentioned fame, I'm excited. I like that theory. So, Joe, do you have a theory you want to share with the audience?
I can't beat Chris. I'm thinking more at the beginning of the Great Hunt when Rand is, he's also, I think at that point, right, Maureen is like ignoring him. And he also kind of wants to be contemplating leaving because he doesn't want to be around anybody because he's afraid, that he's putting everybody in danger. So I'm gonna guess, that was my guess of what this was. So.
Okay, yeah. And do you have any better theories in the chat? Has anyone given us any theories in there that you want to share?
We actually have some that really agree with
Okay.
with what our panelists are saying. Another
Can we give her
is,
the microphone?
Oh, yeah. I was going to repeat. So it sounds, yeah, let's get it.
oh, I don't have too much else to add.
Yeah,
Thanks. We have some that agree with what our panelists have said. Let's see, one was Rand on his way to Tyr.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was
Okay.
the one that stood out. And then, let's see, being secluded from everyone in some way for Maureen or Rand. And I thought the Maureen possibility was interesting, something we haven't discussed yet.
A place of solitude for Moraine. Okay, I like that one. Really interesting. I kind of take theories. What can I say? Yes, you had a point back there?
Yeah, I was gonna agree with that, but now that I'm thinking they're gonna make Logain a bigger point of view, maybe that's after what happened with him.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good theory. The comment in the crowd was that this might have to do with Logain. And kind of a place of solitude, that makes sense potentially for where the storyline for Logain's going. So that's a great one. Well, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
What was your theory?
That's you're putting me in the spot.
Fine, yeah.
Yes. Isn't that what you're saying? Yes. No, so I love the Mirror theory. I think a place of solitude, it makes the most sense for where I anticipate the first season ending. I think it has a lot to do with Faldara and what's going on. And so I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards a Faldara theory related to, I like the idea related to Rand and all of them, honestly. I believe that if you look at where they're all at emotionally in the Great Hunt at the beginning, they're all feeling that same thing. So I would not be surprised if it's relating to kind of the storylines for all of them. So,
Which means, at least for us, we're all kind of speculating early in book 2.
yeah. There are a lot of people that might still believe that we're going to get to the end of book 2 in season 1, and no. I don't know how else to say it other than just listen to like every episode of Talk Around Riyadh and follow a lot series. There's just, it doesn't make any sense to get to the end of the season 2, or for book 2. So we're going to get out of the audience. Let's show some recent stuff that the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime has given us. Can we see their logo that they put up here? So like logo treatment, I think animated title sequence, I think is the way they refer to this. I don't know if you noticed, but there's like an N. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna do that. Yeah, 2021. When it comes to that logo treatment, Chris, this was obviously, people talked about the, wait, there's no 7 spokes. That was a kind of a comment. What did you think about what they had done with, the Wheel of Time logo, if you will?
So I do have just a little sadness to not have the Mickey Mouse ears. Because I love the chapter icon so much, so I will acknowledge that. But on the other hand, that is so cool. It looks amazing.
Yeah, or worse. Yeah, she wanted to make a comment?
Everybody's gonna have to get their tattoos updated.
Yeah, so the comment was made in the audience that all of you people that already got your tattoos will have to get them updated. Well, just another one.
Gotta know your OG somehow.
Yeah, I like it. I think we'll see a lot of tattoos like this in the future.
I mean, the sadness that I have is that there will be so many people who have this logo as their impression of the Wheel of Time logo. That's good. And the good thing is that it's a really good logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, and there's some really cool stuff about the logo. We won't dive, we won't stay there for so long, I want to be able to ask some questions out in the audience. But there's really cool if you go and everyone's done online, there's been treatments of talking about the Ouroboros as part of this, the turning as it turns through the ages. We can even inspect the scales, kind of decaying a little bit. There's fun stuff you can kind of dig into there. So anyway, that's some really cool things. Obviously 2021, right? How many of you have been reading the books, I asked this during the last live stream, since the 90s? Yeah. How excited would you say you are, by a round of applause, that you are going to see The Wheel of Time on TV in 2021? It's happening. So obviously, as this is being mentioned, Comic-Con, Rafe is making some announcements. He just seemed to tell us trailer by end of summer. So meaning that likelihood of a Comic-Con trailer seems low, but that means that he's going to be sharing something. And I guess I'm hopeful for a release date there. But let me go around the audience here and ask you kind of about the Comic-Con trailer coming up, any of the stuff that we kind of discussed here, and questions you might have for the panelists. Do any of you have any comments? Raise your hand when I come out to you. Questions or comments? Sarah has a question for us here. Yes, or a comment.
No, I wanted to mention the titles and why we only have 6 out. If you look at the kind of timing for everything and when we all went to broadcast for the season, kind of coincides with that. And we were all kind of still, me, Rafe, and a couple of other people were still handling the handle at that point. And so that's also when we transferred everything to Amazon. And so, yeah, so that's, they just kind of took over all of the marketing and stuff and the engagement. So that's kind of when you would have noticed Rafe drop off and not be active as much. And so, yeah, Amazon just kind of got involved, and then with the What Wednesday stuff, it just did different things and never got around to posting the final 2. The final 2 scraps, and that's all it is.
So quickly, did people online hear that? Just want to make sure that everyone on YouTube heard that. So yeah. Yes, Chris, you want to add something to that?
So I'm going to go in a totally different direction, and I'm going to stand away from Sarah while I do it. So I just want to keep in mind, as a writer myself as well, there are a number of series where the episode title doesn't necessarily reflect one character arc or one character story. So that theme of that title may coincide with a number of different characters going through the same kind of aspect or incident in different ways, but they're just trying to use that title to say, hey, all the characters are experiencing this kind of thing at the same time. And the theme of this episode is that versus this is what this episode is about. So.
Cool. In other words, I think my theory is right. Yes, so yeah, they come right here quick, because I think I have some comments on YouTube, so let me, yeah, go ahead.
Yep, this was just for a quick YouTube comment, going along with what Christy said. We had one pretty astute commenter that brought up that, saying it could be multiple characters. Another one though brought up, and James was quick to point out when he saw that it could possibly be referring to a setting, and that hadn't come up yet.
Oh yeah, I like that. The great theory of a place of solitude. Sorry, let me come back over here. I'm gonna crisscross in the audience. Oh, this is actually kind of weird.
Yeah, I was gonna ask for the panelists, since clearly they're using chapter titles as episode titles, even if it doesn't correlate to the books or anything. If you guys have any ideas for what chapter titles you think might be 7 or 8, or any chapter titles you think would make really cool episode titles at some point in the series.
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Let me go right to, I'm going to put Joe on the spot
yeah,
here.
You should be thinking, so you
I saw you thinking, yeah. Let's quickly ask me some other questions, but yeah, what do you think?
So I would say for episode 7 and 8, we might get something like The Eye of the World as a chapter title, or Tarwin's Gap, something to that effect. I would imagine we would get. I would say for future episode titles, there are those recurring chapter titles that we get in a lot of the books, like Glimmers in the Pattern, or I think Leaf Taking pops up a couple other times, but they've already used that. Yeah, I can't think of anything in particular that like comes to mind of like favorite chapter title. Glimmers of the Pattern is one of my favorite because that pops up so many times.
I like the eye of the world as an opportunity. Quickly, Tom, anything?
I think episode 7, I had said in the show, our show, Into the Blood. I think that's what episode 7 is.
And Chris, any before we go to the next question?
No.
You didn't know this time. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. Thank you. Okay, question. Yeah, you have a question.
So she had to step out for a second, but she wanted me to ask what are the chances that they will expand on the Old Tongue in the series?
What are the chances you're going to expand on the Old Tongue? Do you mean when you say expand, you mean add additional, flesh out the Old Tongue? I believe, I'm not going to answer for, I believe that Sarah made a comment about the Old Tongue during the live stream. But yes, the question is, I don't think we have an answer of what they're doing there, and I don't think there's an official answer.
We like the language. It's great.
There you go. Your official answer is they like the language, and it's great. So hopefully that's something there for you. Any other questions, comments? Yeah. And I'm not sure. Someone want to give me a time check? How much time we got left?
10 minutes.
You're allowed to go a little bit over.
Yeah, my thought is about the audio trailer that we got with Perrin and Egwene. My best guess is that is when they are escaping Shadar-Lagoth and jumping into the river. So he's asking her whether she's ready to jump.
So that is a really, oh man, this is a deep, kind of long conversation that's hard to get into right now.
Yeah.
But how many of you, regardless of what Rafe or anyone else said about that, believes that is Perrin and Egwene having to do with Shadar-Lagoth and the river? By clapping your hands or raising your hands. Ooh. Okay, right now. There's reason to believe that's not, but we don't have time for that particular answer. Rafe almost gave away like a trip to come meet him if someone could pick out exactly where that was from, and he kind of denied that one. Anyways, it's kind of hard to know. Yes, question.
I just wanted to add what he said, maybe it's with the white cloaks. Yeah.
Maybe it's with the white cloaks was also, yeah. This was, if you go look at that Instagram post, there's all sorts of fun stuff about this question of what that is. Maybe I'll put my panelist over there. Do you have one, Tom, that you are stuck on as far as a theory about Perrin and Egwene and where they're at in that scene?
So, all right. So I will say this: my theory on that has changed, I think, 4 or 5 times since that audio came out, and I will refer to the fact that when Rafe said, right, that he gives somebody a trip to come out there, or like have lunch with them or anything or whatever it was, if they got it right, there was an implication that scene was not a scene that was 100% from the books. And something about it, at least something about it, was not necessarily book related. So I think that what people said here might be right, but I think that there's a possibility that those 2 characters may be in a location that they're not in the first book.
Yeah, I think that one's fun.
I think he said something to the effect that like it's something that happens, but we don't see it happen in the books. So we get an impression that it's something we know that happens, but
any good theories in YouTube live chat on what that is? If you, I don't know if they can hear me there, but yeah, I'd love to hear your theories. But we have a question in the back here. Yeah, go ahead.
Can we all agree that the second logo that they created is better than the first?
Ooh, that's going to be controversial. That's controversial right there. Just bringing up the controversy. We'll do it this way. How many of you like the logo that you're accustomed to that has the Mickey Mouse ears? Raise your hand. How many would like that? Okay, that's okay. How many of you like the logo animated with the Ouroboros and? Okay, there we go. There's the answer. We don't need to necessarily pick one over the other. It seems like everyone's chilling with them both. I like that. Look at you guys. Yeah, question?
Or did we like it better when it was more like the Game of Thrones logo versus?
Yes, Game of Thrones is a big question here. And this is an interesting question. I think we can cover this really quick. Chris, do you think that the Game of Thrones success will be a boon for Wheel of Time?
Yeah, obviously. I think we would not have gotten anything like this budget or this investment without a huge success like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, as Wheel of Time fans, we're like, well, we came first, we love the Wheel of Time. We made it, but I think it's cool that they've kind of flipped that and maybe made some space for us.
Yeah, but the advantage is our story is actually finished.
You had to call it out, you had to do it. I knew that was gonna happen, We went for it.
I just want to say one more thing. I want everybody here to bite your tongue the amount of times somebody says that's never read these books and watches the show and says, oh, they did that on Game of Thrones. And you're going to be like, oh, the books came out before that.
Okay, so what's your question?
So with the Flame of Tarvalon episode title, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with that, because that must be too early for the episode from Suan, right?
Oh, no. We didn't talk about castings. We talked about characters who were absent, but we didn't talk about characters who were in the first season who aren't in the first book, right? We've got Swan, we've got Lyanna, we've got Alana. Those are characters that don't appear until the second book, but that we know that are cast. Yeah. Leandrin as well, yeah.
Yes, we know that they're there, so yeah, there certainly could be some things that happen. Who just dun over there?
That was Sarah.
Sarah Nakamura just dun.
There's a lot of evidence that says we're going to be going to Tarvalon in season 1.
By the way, this young fan, extremely Wheel of Time smart. I just want you to know that. Okay, so let me go to the next question here. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you think the fact that the Wheel of Time is a little less graphic than Game of Thrones, do you think that helped or hurt the show? Because, a lot of people liked Game of Thrones that weren't fantasy fans because it's not like, oh, it's not cheesy, it's got all this violence, and this, it'd be more kid-friendly. I could see someone watch it with their kids, but, of course you don't know yet.
Yeah, so this is a good question for our panelists. Let me go to you, Tom, on this one.
Yeah.
What do you think? Have you heard the question? And for those of you, hopefully you heard this on YouTube, but if you didn't, the question is, will this be as popular because it's maybe not as violent or salacious maybe in ways that Game of Thrones was?
Yeah, I definitely think it's not as salacious. I think that its violence is not as in your face, but those books are really violent in a lot of different ways. And if the show wanted to, they could play up that violence. I don't think that they should. I think that this story works better when that stuff is a little bit, not off screen, but to the side of the screen. And I think that the Game of Thrones was huge, but Lord of the Rings is huger. And I think that if they can get that demographic to like this show, then that's the way that they should go.
Yeah, interesting point.
It's the books are pretty gory. That's the difference, I think. I would say, right? You said salacious, you used that word for Game of Thrones. I think that's a great way to describe it. While we're not going to be seeing, graphic nudity and, all incest and all that nonsense, we're going to get a lot of monstrous type things going, right? We've got Trollocs eating people, right? We've got Forsaken torturing people, stuff like that. That's pretty hardcore stuff in its own way. So I don't know if they're going to play into that or not. I think there were comments about the ratings, what it's going to be TVMA, what the ratings are going to be. I don't think we ever had a confirmation one way or the other.
Ooh, this is a good question. I want to see this question. So I want to get some raise their hands here. Who wants to see a TVMA Wheel of Time? Raise their hand. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, James. Very good.
I, for one, would be super excited to see a TVMA, see the things that we didn't necessarily see in the actual books that happened off screen, because that is one of the things that Rafe has said, is we will see things that happened off screen, and you can guarantee there's a lot of fun stuff happening off screen. So I don't think it's going to be as PG as some people think it might be.
I have a question for everybody here and people on the live stream. Who wants to see a Myrddraal nailed to a door?
Yes, of course. Put your hands up.
Just on a regular Friday,
Did anyone catch if Sarah had her hand up? Okay, we have a question from an audience member here.
So as much as I love Robert Jordan's writing, it was very fluffy. And in the TV format, season 1, we're obviously going to have some things cut. What are the things about book 1 that you're absolutely fine with being cut?
Oh, that's another
Ooh, great question, great question. So,
You should go to tomorrow's chopping block.
okay, so yeah, maybe we'll save that. Yeah, it was a good plug for that. We're talking about chopping blocks, so I believe, is that one being live streamed? Okay, we'll see what we can do about
You'll
that.
get to see the third member of Talk Around Rihanna on that.
Way to plug Jen. Jen is growing the front. Yeah, so that's a great question. I think that it would take, but before we go, do you have one that you'd like to share with people where you see an answer to the same question, something you think it could be cut?
It's not book one, but anything dealing with the bowl of wins, I won't freaking go. Anything to do with fails, you can be written out entirely.
Okay, now we got to, see, let's be honest, if we're honest as fans, we would make some changes. And I'm just saying, right? We give Rafe and others a hard time, but there's every once in a while something like, this could have taken less time. Yeah. Let's admit that. How much time do we have left there, James?
You have enough time. You
We're
have
good.
whatever
Okay,
time
cool.
you want.
Awesome. Questions?
Well, no, you have 5.
You just realized who you were talking to.
Yeah, I'm like, as much time as I want. Let's break it down. 5 minutes. Any other questions from the audience about what's happening? Yeah, let's TV show question up here. Gabe. I met Gabe yesterday. Get out here.
I just want to point out 67 days till the end of summer.
Nice. I will add that. I will add that to the countdown.
Question for the panel and everyone. We've seen Eamondsfield, we've seen the sword, we've seen the dagger. All of them have had subtle changes to them, things that are different. But we haven't seen parents' acts and all that sort of. Can we take it as confirmation that the things we haven't seen are intact as we envision them, and there's no need to soften the blow, so to speak?
No. Look, I'm not part of the crew.
He learns from you, Chris.
I think that's probably just pretty clear. Okay, we had some comments here.
We have a mixed bag on the MA. So some say rated R is different than MA. So maybe let's explore that. Also, a resounding yes on a mirror drill nailed to the door. We have a new hashtag nail the mirror drill.
Nice. Just saying, Rafe, this is your opportunity. We better get the mirror drill nailed to the door. I love it. Any other questions about the TV show itself for our panelists here before we call this good?
And Matt, I
Yeah.
wanted to mention before we end up
Yeah.
that, and I don't know if we have these clips or images, but if you have been consumed by JordanCon and you haven't been watching your social media as much as you might normally, I thought it was really cool today to see that both Rafe and One on Time gave JordanCon shout outs today. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's a great way. Thank you very much. Yes, round of applause for him. What? And why don't we show that? Can we show that just to end us up here? Can you open up the the Twitter account for the Wheel of Time show? And then we can just see their tweet too. And we can kind of play that video. I think that one's pinned, right? So it's, yeah. Well, that was a little video here, yeah, we can kind of play it for everybody. There's no audio to it, but. I just love this thing. Just the grind of the wheel as it turns. Well, thank you everyone for being here. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you to my panelists. Again, Joe and Tom from Talk Around Podcast. Christopher Cottingham, thank you, you're from the rereaders, old school rereaders group. So yes, Christopher, thank you very much for the comments. And all of your answers for your questions out here. Thank you very much for participating in this one. And we'll get the Wheel of Time TV show in 2021, so yeah! Thank you everybody, and see you. Thank you for your comments on YouTube. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Everybody's so happy on here. Yeah, guys. Okay. Hey, are we caught up on here? Oh, we are. Okay.